Henry Leggette joins us, and I'm so thrilled that he's here. He's such an important book, Progress Through Struggle. Henry, thanks for coming on Author's Corner. It's great to have you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So first of all, tell us what motivated you to write the book.
There's several motivations that motivated me to write this book. Well, first of all, I have 4 grandkids, 2 daughters. And as I was working with the FAA, doing real good as an electronics technician with the FAA, I think my grandchildren asked me first, Poppy, why are you doing so good with the FAA, but you say you finished such a poor school? I say, I worked hard, I studied, and I trusted God. And my daughters asked me the same thing. I told them basically the same thing. And as I went along, I thought about us. My wife told me, she said, you have done a lot, And so as I got further into my career, I decided I would write something down. And after I retired, so many people asked me when I was as an amateur radio operator, traveling all around the country. And they said, you have done so many things, why don't you put that in print? So I just put it in print. So here I am, Progress Through Struggle.
Exactly. Well, you can sit back and relax now. because it's really a wonderful book. And there's, for other people, for your family, it's a great legacy. But there's so many lessons, I think, life lessons and stories in this. And I think that you were also motivated to tell the world about that. Tell us about your, I think it's a love for what you did. How did you end up in that position, with the FAA?
Well, let me go back and start. That just will tell the world how, a lot of people, you can do some things if you just work hard, trust God. And then when I came out of this high school that I was in, like I say, my grandkids was in the 6th grade here in Memphis, Tennessee. When I finished high school, they had an equivalent education of what I had. So I continued on after that, and I went to college to HBCU, Mississippi Valley State. It was Mississippi Vocational College at that time, but now it's Mississippi Valley State College, and it's a university now. So I went there and I finished almost. I had 3 courses to finish. And so I was on the draft, and I had already got 3 deferments. So I went to the draft board and requested another deferment to finish school. The lady told me that she was not going to give me another deferment. Said, my son went in service and got killed, you must go. I said, oh gee, I'm going to be drafted in this Vietnam War. So what did I do at that time? I walked out of her office, went to the recruiter's office. And when I went to the recruiter's office, he told me, we cannot get you in the military until about 3 or 4 weeks. So I knew the only thing now to do is to join the Army Reserve. So that's what I did. I joined the Army Reserve. I went to the Army Reserve. They said, when do you want to go? I said, maybe tomorrow. He said, what about tomorrow? I said, well, I don't want to go tomorrow. I remind them this this is a historical date I'm gonna mention now. I said, I don't want to go tomorrow. That was the date, the March on Washington that Dr. Martin Luther King did. I said, I want to see that march. So the next day I went in, and after I got in to be inducted, they said, you did really extremely well on this electronics and crypto stuff. What are you majored in? I said, automobile mechanic. They said, you may get out of that and get in this electronic. So I decided that was a pretty good idea. They signed me to November 3rd, 1963, to the U.S. Army Southeastern Signal School in Fort Gordon, Georgia, as a basic field radio repair. And that's what I took. For 6 months, I studied. Sometime, I think the test was so hard, I said, am I gonna make it? But anytime it got that hard, I would always go by the chapel, get on my knees. I said, Lord, just help me. Just help me make a 70. So I made it all the way through that school. It was about 40 in the class. And I came out, I think number 7. I can't remember the exact number, but I came out number 7. And that was nothing but uphill from then on until now. And
it taught you a skill that you were really good at. I mean, they were right to tell you that.
Right. And to tell me how I got in the FAA, after I got out of the service, I went to work for the U.S. Army during the same thing I was doing in service. They was complimenting me because I was repairing equipment that some of the people sitting there could not repair as fast as I could. So they were always telling me, oh man, come on, help us out. But after Irma and I got married, we decided, after she was getting her master's degree, we decided to move to Memphis, Tennessee. So I could not work with the federal government. Then I moved and went to work with AT&T. I worked 13 months with AT&T. And then I moved over to the FAA. Took the test for FAA as an electronics technician trainee. When I say trainee, that military electronics is nothing compared to FAA training. I'm gonna tell you, FAA is the cream of the crop. You get through some of those courses, you have marked yourself down, but you've done something. So I made up my mind, I'm not gonna fail. I put it in the book, I'm not gonna fail. That's what I did. I studied, I prayed, I studied. And encouragement from my family. Irma was such an encouragement to me. So that's how I got through.
Wow. When people read Progress Through Struggle, what else will they learn?
They will learn, don't give up because you had one failure. Don't give up. Try again. Try harder. That's one of the things I think that one of the main things to learn. Try harder. It's not the end of the world because you had a failure. Try harder.
And it's interesting because we struggle with failure, don't we? So many people give up after they fail.
Well, I didn't mention that. Some people, as soon as they, I know people. When I was in college, they fail a course, they leave. The struggle is just starting now. The struggle is starting. Let's get back in and work harder.
Yeah. You know, and it's interesting in your book because you talk about your path, the path that we're talking about, and you really are a trailblazer. You probably don't, maybe you don't even think of yourself as that, but you open doors for a lot of people. That has to feel good. I think that's part of your legacy.
Well, it probably is because I just never did. Now, here's one thing that I always did in my career. If I meet this goal, set another one. If I meet that one, set another one. My parents taught me that, raised up on the farm. If you meet that goal that you set another one. If you fail that one, continue, go back, do it again. You get over it. Work harder. That's just where I am. I just don't believe it's no failures out there. I just believe that people's will have the chance to see how far they can go, how fast that struggle can put them to make them go up, move up.
And you know, the title of the book, Progress Through Struggle, I mean, you overcame poverty, racism, rejection. That's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, and the racism is tough to overcome because you knew you had God-given talents and you're not looking at the world through those eyes, and especially the time period that we're talking about. From when you started to where you ended up, do you think things got better?
Oh yeah, things got better. They got better. You know, let me just mention something about the racism and where I came from in East Central Mississippi in Kemper Springs. In the community that I lived in, it was one white family there. I didn't understand anything about racism until I went off to high school, which we moved out of the community off to high school. That's when I found out that everybody was not treated the same. Because there in Kemper Springs, if my neighbor had some food, and they did a thing then what they call kill hogs. And after kill hogs, they chopped the meat up and everything. And my parents, they give us a little sack. You carry John's some. You carry Mary's some. Everybody shared. But when I got out of Kemper Springs into high school, I learned it was different. And the type of school that we were riding in, buses and everything was different. I learned that the white, so to speak, were riding on different buses than the black. I learned that. But that's not going to stop me. Not going to stop me. One day, I'll be riding on one of those buses too.
And it happened.
So that's how. I'm sorry.
And it happened for you.
It happened. Yeah, it did. It did.
Wow. When people read Progress Through Struggle, Henry, what do you hope they take away? People listening to our conversation, watching us, what do you hope they take away from reading your book?
Everybody's, well, I don't like to say everybody is not the same. Everybody's equal. Everybody's equal, on equal footing. Yeah, on equal footing. Everybody, because God made everybody. He didn't make everybody the same. He gave everybody a talent. My talent, electronics. Your talent is different from mine. But I don't have to dislike you because you got a talent and you can beat me out in that talent. But then you don't have to dislike me because I have electronics. I can beat you out in that. So everybody got a talent. God made everybody to fit somewhere in this world.
What a beautiful place to end this. Get this book. It's really, really interesting. And your history in your life is interesting. Henry Leggette, thank you so much.
Oh, okay. I'm just glad to be here. Glad to be here. Glad to be and glad I could participate.